Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday night. You know what that means. It's time for the old T.N.F on the bus, the night when we hand over the keys to you, the passengers, to tell us what you want to talk about. You can take a pretty good guess what's going to be many people's agendas tonight. Obviously, we're going to be addressing a certain game last night. We'll be dissecting what went down, our feelings on that one. But either way, as long as it's some sort of Celtic point of view, then we'll be asking you to get your points in during the show. And the panel, as sometimes people like to call us, we'll obviously chew the fat over them and discuss them. But before we do all that, obviously you can see tonight, nice T.N.F team. Usually myself and Liam are reserved for Friday nights, but no, here we are, Liam on a Thursday night. And as I always say, the wise man of the bus, Canada's favourite Tim. How are you keeping tonight, my man?
Not bad at all. Good. Nice yesterday, go see a game and you can have a beer and watch a game for a change. That was the only good thing, but
that's the only good thing, yeah. Tell me about it. It was one of the ones. Connor, how are you doing, my man?
I'm alright.
Alright.
Just the usual, innit? European hangover. But we'll move on. We'll get stuck into it tonight, I'm sure.
We shall do. And Judge, we were on Tuesday night. We're back now to go over the postmortem of it last night. But how are you feeling tonight, sir?
I'm fine, mate. Thanks for asking. Neither up nor down, to be honest with you. I was expecting more than I thought we would get a victory on the Wednesday night there, but we didn't get one. But the bigger picture is Saturday's all that matters, really, mate, in my opinion. In fact, in most folks' opinions, and I think there'd be an implosion into this with the crowd on Saturday if we don't win, compared to walking home just kicking a few stones because we didn't win Wednesday night. That's the reality. It is. We'll be conditioned now by a board that doesn't care about European football for us all to be basically turning apathetic. And I think when you expect a manager to turn continent to silk, they're going to get the best results. And do you know what? I think that was evident on Wednesday night. Just that killer instinct, lack of quality. And that's probably why a few people are feeling a bit dejected this morning. I think it was just reality biting for a few folk. I think the window was a reality for a few folk, but I think last night just rubber stamped where this club's been the last 20 years. And I think probably a few people are probably woke up this morning knowing fine well knew where European football lands in the boardroom's priority, and as a club and then the fan base are just eventually just meeting the same standards, to be honest with you.
There's only so many times you can see the same movie happen again and again in front of your eyes before it starts to register with you. And then last night was so we'll be dissecting that one very, very soon. Before we do that, of course, I'll remind everybody to do all that good stuff. Of course, hit that like button, helps us out with the old algorithm. CSC gives the bus a bit more traction. More people on YouTube will see it in the recommended video boxes. Obviously, get involved in our comments tonight as well, because it is the T.N.F. It is about you guys getting your points of view in, which will be coming to very, very soon. And of course, you can share link of the Bhoycie Bus far and wide across whatever social media platform you wish. And we have now reached 4,250 subscribers. I noticed earlier on it was 4.25k on the channel. So thanks to everyone that has subscribed so far. And if you haven't, then why not join the rest of them? Hit that button. Of course, hit the bell notification to be reminded when we go live. We put out plenty of content throughout the week. And also head over to piesports.com. That logo you see up there next to Liam's head. Head over there and go to Bus 1888 to get some tasty 12.5% off your tasty treats. I didn't even try pointing this week, Liam. You do it so smoothly, mate. Well done, man. I always get it wrong. I was going that way. I always get it completely the wrong way. Yes, and obviously tonight, because I'm hosting the T.N.F, don't be fooled by the fact I wear glasses, because I miss a lot of comments as well. But tonight, I'm going to bring back something that me and Mark did a few weeks ago when we did T.N.F. If you could start your comments with hashtag T.N.F at the start, I'm more likely to see them, because there's a function on StreamYard where I can bookmark them essentially. So as I see ones going up with hashtag T.N.F at the start, I'll just start bookmarking them. And when we also come to the point where we're going to go to questions, makes it a lot easier for me. So help out Uncle Phil, please, and put hashtag T.N.F at the start. I'd appreciate it massively. And before that's said and done, we'll quickly go round, guys, just get initial thoughts on the game, and then we'll go to viewers' points on the game as well. Say hashtag T.N.F to get involved. So yeah, in terms of the game last night, I was at the game. I was there to soak it all up, absolutely buzzing before the game, and unfortunately, the depths of despair at the end, as many fans were. Mark said, kicking a few stones along the road. I was kicking a few things walking along the road. Definitely was. It was a familiar story. I found it very appropriate that I got into the car. The first song that I heard on the radio, this is no joke, was Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime, and as Russell uses. This one many times, same as it ever was, and that's why, of course, I put that in the title and in the description tonight of the video, because I genuinely started laughing when I heard it, because I thought, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. But that's what you're laughing at, and I went, this song, listen to the lyrics, like, this is the one that Russell always used to describe the board, when you're just going through the motions, essentially. And how many times have we seen it now with Celtic at home at Europe? When do we now accept that we're just not a force anymore? But yeah, last night, as I was just replaying everything that happened in the games, I'm sitting in the car, I just heard David Byrne, same as it ever was, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty appropriate right now. So that's why it's obviously themed the title of the video. But yeah, it just felt like deja vu. It's seen too many of this happen over the last few years, and obviously I felt overall, though, when you actually look at the performance, Liam, I think we did enough to win the game. I felt in the first half, after getting the goal, which, to be fair, was a very, very good goal, the way Desmida just sort of took the game by the scruff of the neck, got by that fullback, the great 1-2 pass, or the great first-time pass by O'Reilly. Kyogo finishes it brilliantly. There was a spell there up to half-time, though, where I was like, oh, Lazio, man, their pressing game was really, really good. And then at half-time, I was thinking, well, we've got to half-time, we'll regroup, but we're going to have to work hard to win this, because I say they were putting us a lot of pressure. They were on top of us. But I feel in the second half we matched it, and they didn't really get a sniff at goal until the very end, unfortunately. And of course, at this level, Liam, you can't make mistakes even for a few seconds at this level, because you will get punished. And sadly, in the 95th minute and 30 seconds, whatever it was, we sadly got punished, Liam. What was your take on the game, mate?
That casualness causes casualties, right? Used to tell you that when you were playing football. Don't be too casual on the ball. And I think sometimes we drift in and out of that. I know my take in the game, this was a very, very different one. I've never went into a European game, as a fan before with such least just not caring about the outcome. I feel we got a board and that don't care. And so I decided this year that I'm not going to invest myself emotionally in the Champions League. I mean, I missed most of the first half of the other one because it's something going on with work. But there used to be times where I would shift meetings and do everything I could. Like, there was no way I was missing a Champions League game, whether it was work or not. And so this time that seems to be gone. I don't feel that anyway. So I went in with really lowered expectations. Still jumped out my seat like a dafty when that goal went in, and appreciated everything about it. Thought the ball for O'Reilly was just the way he stabbed it and directed it right into Kyogo, and Kyogo did well. Last strike, I thought he was going to lose it in his feet and the goalie would get it, but he did well to just push it by him, unexpectedly. He didn't wind up and show it, just took a wee snapshot, and I think that beat him at such a close range. And then everything as well, like some of the refereeing calls, I still get excited about that. But did I care whether they win or no? Nah, as soon as they scored, I just went, yeah, that's it. It's like, if the boards are going to look at Europe as an exhibition game, I'm not going to get all hyped up and get all emotional about something that nobody else cares about, So I enjoyed the football yesterday, but it seemed like like this Australian Cup or something that we played, Didn't seem like that to me anymore, because I don't think we're competing, But we've decided we don't want to. So, well praised. I thought some people had some good games. Some people I thought had really shitty games as well. So we can get more into the players and that later, if you want. But, mostly everybody got a bit of pass marks, There was good bits in every. There was a lot of strong 6s and 7s out there, It's no 9s. Maybe the O'Reilly came close to an 8 or something, but,
Yeah, it's no, I'd agree on that. Say there's plenty of players I think can get past marks for, but ultimately it's the same outcome, sadly, and it's Plaudits, not points. And Connor, something that I say all the time, and I'm sick of saying it on Celtic and European nights, but once again, Celtic doing Celtic things on a European night, it always seems to happen to us. There's no luck. My dad kept saying that at the game last night when we lost that goal and walking home. He's like, it's just, I know you have to make your own luck, and is it a factor? But it just feels like Celtic just always get kicked in the bollocks every single time. It's always just something that something just goes catastrophically wrong. You know, teams don't ever tend to score good goals against us, and when we do score it, we need to work so bloody hard to do it. I say our goal last night was a fantastic bit of work to get there, but their 2 goals were just summed up Celtic in Europe over the years, where it's just like I can't believe this has happened to us again. It's like, for a club with its strong Irish roots, we've got no luck at the Irish anyway, I'll tell you that much. It's just becoming an absolute... how do we even sum it up anymore, Connor? What was your feelings on overall the game last night?
I was gutted, more so because I feel like if we'd got an absolute pasting, I wouldn't really cared. I would have been like, got beat, that's it, whatever, I didn't give a fuck. But because we got that, even a draw snatched away at us at the last minute, was kind of the gutting thing about it, especially when I think we did kind of deserve to win that game. But I know you're saying it's a luck thing. I think there's only so many times you can put it down to luck now. I think the writing's been on the wall for a while, man. It's got fuck all to do with luck now. It's to do with a board that don't invest, for a club that's meant to be playing at Champions League level, who don't replace players of a certain calibre and just fill it with project players who aren't up to the standard, who aren't ready to come into these kind of games and hit the ground running. It's not great. It's almost like a kick in the balls, but it's like you're repeatedly being asked to get kicked in the balls. You know, you're volunteering for it at this stage. I've said it once, I've said it twice, I'll say it 1,000 more times. We are a Europa League club masquerading as a Champions League club just because the other teams happen to help the coefficient get to the point and they're that shite that they can't win the league. They're automatically in that qualification spot and may qualify. So I think we're kind of more just riding, that's the lucky thing. We're riding our luck at the minute, being able to actually get into the Champions League, as it were, and I don't like saying that because we are, the first team from the UK to win the European Cup, to win the Champions League. We'll have such, a history in that with this competition, but over the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years, it's just been nothing but an embarrassment, and it's kind of heartbreaking now that, I'm slowly morphing into Marc more and more with all these games that passing by. I'm just stopping to give a fuck. I'm just kind of rocking up these as they're a foregone conclusion, as in it's more of a happy surprise or a lucky accident if we get a result more than anything else. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think if we can't beat a Shakhtar team that didn't even play in their own fucking stadium last year and they were there for the taking, then who can we beat? Feyenoord, the Dutch champions, Lazio, who they weren't great last night and they haven't shown up, are still a very good side, and Atletico Madrid, one of the best defensive teams in Europe, with a brilliant manager.
Yes.
So I think the writing's on the wall now. I think we're at the Champions League. We've got no chance to qualify even for the Europa League now, so I think now just have to focus on the league. And look, we'll probably after in the next couple of weeks, they'll probably fucking be shit again, drop points, we'll be 10, 15 points clear, and we'll all be having a jolly old time again. But doesn't take away for the fact that in terms of Europe, we're absolutely just up shit creek with a pile at the minute, and it's all down to the fucking board.
No, that's a fair assessment. And of course, Marc, as Connor's saying there, like, it's a happy surprise now if we get a result in Europe. That's how sad it's really became with the European record, because so many people associate Celtic with such a great home record, but that's became a myth now. I mean, the last time we won at home in the Champions League group stages was 2013, 10 years ago against Ajax. The only game that we won in that group stage. We've had a few decent results in the Europa League group stages, but Champions League, we're just so far off it. We've had one victory in that 10 years as well, which was an away win against Anderlecht, a resounding away win that night as well. Even when they came to Celtic Park, they still beat us. But we're now heading into a double header, the next 2 fixtures in this competition against Atletico Madrid. For me, they're the best team in the group. And I imagine a couple of weeks when the fixtures rolling around, a lot of fans, probably me included, will suddenly be all buoyed up and ready for it again. And I'm probably going to be gullible and get a similar feeling again. But Connor picked up on there. Likelihood is getting through in the group to the second round of the Champions League is pretty much, non-existent now. is there even a hope for us to even salvage third place? Because we talked about before the season started about, European progress, what would be a bit of progress. We'll have in European football after Christmas and try to get through some knockout games, because that was the big thing that we were worrying about. That was the monkey on the back we were trying to get rid of. But now it's like, man, just to win some games in the group stages would actually be nice, first and foremost. So maybe getting a bit too ahead of ourselves there, Mark.
I think never mind Christmas. To even be in Europe after game 2, but I mean we're not even in game 3 yet. We're already, so never mind Christmas. I'm going to be honest with you. Before I even get into the performance for last night or the game in general, I'm hoping that Galatasaray get to the latter stages and Celtic don't qualify for the Champions League. I really don't think our board deserve it. Our board don't deserve to sit and reap in the rewards. Another 50-60 million pound Champions League campaign with 8 games rather than 6.
Is that the team that affects our coefficient?
I think I might be wrong, but I'm just saying whatever has to happen. I personally wouldn't bother me, because I don't think I don't mean the fans here, but the club does not deserve to be in the Champions League. They don't tell the manager up to be in the Champions League. And if it was up to me, I wouldn't have Celtic qualifying for it. They don't deserve it. And as I said before, it could be 600 million that we get for qualifying. We're not going to see the benefit of going to the park. We'll just have 8 nights like last night. In fact, probably throw in a couple of 3, 4, 5 nils on top of that and all. It's just going to be disappointment. People sitting in the pissing rain last night, watching Bernardo come on, watching Yang run about, watching Palma playing only his second or third game for Celtic, and we're in October, watching Greg Taylor, watching at some points Daizen Maeda, but watching guys like Daizen Maeda in the Champions League for Celtic. I mean, watching players are just no Champions League quality, but they just happen to be in a Champions League team because they play for Celtic. It's actually embarrassing that the Celtic fans are being asked to pay for 4 football strips, a Champions League package, a season ticket. It's been up exponentially, and they've been shortchanged. In fact, the club still made a profit. I mean, the board totally and utterly shafted the manager. I don't think any blame lies at the manager's door. I don't think last night's tactics were wrong. I thought it was spot on. I think Celtic could have won that match. Yep. But I'm fed up. I'm the same as Conor. I'm fed up listening to this pish. It was hard luck. How many times can you say it's hard luck? We just not get the quality. It's like Celtic playing Hearts or even Motherwell when there's periods in the game where they don't tap us, but you come away thinking, do you know what, they just didn't have the quality to beat us. And that's exactly us in Europe. We just don't get the quality to beat them. Teams can just play us. Like last night is the kind of game we see us going away to Tynecastle and winning. You know what I mean? That is the sort of thing we see. We don't really show up, don't come under mental amounts of pressure, although they have some shots on target, and then come away with the 3 points. And I don't know, I rounded off a few names there, but if you get Mikey Johnston and James Forrest on the bench for Champions League football, and I just don't know what Mayor, I mean, as I said, I think some of my Celtic fans have woke up this morning and they've actually woke up to the reality of what Celtic are, mate. They're just an avenue for these directors to make money and bonuses, an avenue for the shareholders to make dividends. Nobody's in it for the team to perform better on the park. I think if first and second place get the same prize money, the board's directive would just be to finish first or second. No really too caring about one they finished, as long as they finished in that top 2. And do you know what is? I didn't go to the game last night. Obviously, I haven't got any of the Champions League games. But see the folk that went out in the piss and rain, and it was bad weather last night after a full day's work. They must have been getting home at midnight last night and thinking to themselves, "I just watched our manager look at the bench with 10 minutes to go, chasing what would be a winner, and he's turning around and seeing Mikey Johnston and James Forrest sitting there. What the fuck is that all about?" You know what I mean? The performance last night, as I said, we could have won it, but I'm fed up listening to hard luck stories. We made it. You make your own luck. Forget about the referee. Forget about the elbow, whatever. You know something that happens in Scotland. We get away with things in Scotland, I know, as much as we get against us. That just happens, right? Sometimes they go for you, and sometimes they go against you. So I'm not buying that for a minute. And the goal they scored was proven to be offside, just be the onside. Sorry, by about a fraction of a millimetre, but it was still onside. So I'm not getting complaints that way, but I'm just fed up listening to the same hard luck stories, mate. And do you know something? I'm beyond. See where Liam and corner. I was there 7 years ago. I'm totally apathetic to it, mate. Honestly, I'm going to be honest. I promised Russell I was going to make an effort at the Champions League this season, but cards on the table, right? I put the game on last night, and it was like watching a DVD for an old match. I was there, but I wasn't there. And I think I described it to my dad today. My dad isn't a massive Scotland fan, but he wants me to win. I said to my dad today, I said it was like you watching Scotland. If they win, brilliant, excellent. Have a wee extra can or two. But see if they get beat, you flick your channel away and forget you even watched it. And you know what? That was my mood last night. By the time I got into the room after turning the telly off, I forgot the game. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until somebody asked me the score this morning. Somebody asked me what I thought about the game this morning that I even gave it a second thought. That's the God's honest truth. Right. But it was good to be on the outside. Normally one is panicking and bedwetting on Twitter. So it was good for me to be on the outside and watch everybody else who tells me to calm down, seeing all them panicking and flapping and being pissed off and calling out the board. And quite interesting, that's just a wee pointer for you. It was the first time I saw Mark Lawwell on TV or anywhere near Celtic. It was when the camera panned to the Clark, the Scotland manager, and he was sitting just to the left of him. And funnily, this morning, he became in focus for the Celtic fans. I seen some tweets and I thought that was quite poignant that last night was the first time I saw the guy and knew he was getting picked up. The actual job he's done, built in with roughly 20 players and only one with impact. And just I made this point a few times on this pod, and it's eventually getting picked up now that our guys came in and shepherded the team for you think of the players that's left Celtic, Juranovic, Giacomakis, Jota, Starfelt. We might one or two more, 14 players that I can't remember, even if you include Moy in that. And none of them's been replaced, not one's been replaced adequately. I mean, all come on last night. There was a chance in the last 3 or 4 minutes. The ball was in the box, in the opposition's box, and it was running out to Palmer to keep the ball in play. Could have crossed it in, and O just ran across the player's back and gave away a stupid foul for no reason whatsoever. I thought if anything ever summed up that guy, it was that moment, and he just dives about. I think the boy's a cheat. Anytime I saw the boy playing for Celtic, he just dives about, and he's not a guy I like playing for Celtic. If anything sums up Celtic under Mark Lawwell, I think you look at somebody who was raw and is not going to cut it, and that's the signings that he's made. There's not been one signing that guy's been involved in, and I thought last night was funny how it's the first time I saw him on TV and knew the focus might start, and rightly so, because you can't sit and be invisible and be nowhere near. If you're going to have a highly sought after position in Celtic Park, you're going to have to be visible and take the flak. And that's the first time I saw the guy anywhere near. He's not had an interview or nothing. I thought he's been protected for a reason, and that's why, because his father's running the club, and that's why he's getting protected. There's been no interviews, no reminding the fans who's buying the players or nothing. Just we're getting shite after shite and being charged twice the price for watching it. And I'm just fed up, and I feel sorry for anybody that spent a lot of money last night going to watch that, because that was a good performance in spells, but it was just the same old shite you get off Celtic in the Champions League, to be honest.
No, I seen the same list you were talking about doing the rounds on Twitter today. I seen it doing somebody retweeted it, and it's like you have, and you've been very consistent in your Fields UP football. But let's now have a wee look at some of the viewers' comments. I've actually got 12 starred just now, so thanks everyone for doing hashtag T.N.F at the start. It does help. So Liam, we'll come to you first on this one, and a player who obviously last night, his name hasn't even came up yet. All of us talk about the game. But can the boys speak about Hatate's constant shocking passing? He's leaving us open everything we start an offensive move. Brendan Rodgers must see this too. Because I felt with Hatate last night, he was good winning the ball back, but he always goes for like the Hollywood pass. And I know his whole game is all about high risk and stuff, but sometimes for the greater good, particularly in European football when it comes to Celtic, just go for the simple pass. It doesn't need to be high risk all the time. And he seemed to be finding a lot of Lazio players were going for those high risk balls, because I say their high pressing was really good at times. They're right on top of our players. So there was many times where he takes one step forward, essentially by winning the ball back, but then takes a step back away by just giving it right back to them again. And it's like, sometimes, man, just go for the simple pass. It's not glamorous and all that, but just retaining possession. If they haven't got the ball, they can't score. But he was always going for that, the killer ball and not having much luck with it. But Hatate also did come in for a bit of criticism with the Feyenoord performance as well, and then that benefit of the doubt. The boy was just back from an injury and so on. But are you concerned about Hatate at the moment, or again, do you think it is just his style of play? That is just the way he is, and we ain't going to change it?
I don't think it is, because one of the things I liked about Hatate, the way he played, was the fact he can control a ball really well in tight quarters. When people were smashing that ball to him, he was able to trap it right away and sometimes just turn with one move. And last night, balls were flying off him. They were getting to him and then it was bouncing. He wasn't killing it at his feet. It was bouncing out a yard or 2 yards in front of him. And he was trying to do that turn as well. And I don't know, maybe it's the eye thing that's knocking him out. That looks like he's got like a on the side of his eye. And I don't know, that's an excuse in that.
Come on, Liam, you're better than that. You've been wrong, and that's it.
Try to look away, see what drop in form. What I really think it is, Mark, Phil, I think it's he's putting himself in a shop window. So if you're looking for a Hollywood pass and you're trying to do something to be noticed, then you're not doing what's benefit for the team. You're trying to benefit yourself. And when you try to get noticed, sometimes it backfires. You get noticed for the wrong things. If you look at Hatate, I don't know, maybe his head is turned. I mean, I know he's signed a new contract, but his whole thing is like, okay, sign a new contract, play really, really well in these games. And maybe he's not got, maybe the pressure's too much. You know, this is a guy that came straight out of like university football or college football in Japan, played a season and then came to us. So Champions League might be too big for him. He might have bit off a bit more than he could chew, you know?
Yeah, well, the last season, it was the highlight, wasn't it? The pass against Real Madrid for the throw into him and the half volley. And it's like, it was an incredible like pass and stuff, but the ultimate thing is we still lost the game 3-0 at the end of the day. So it was like, it was all for nothing. And yeah, we were needing him to, be that linchpin this season, because again, with him, having that, he's made it quite clear that he's got ambitions. It's like, well, that's where you got to do it. But yeah, I think, if it is a case of he is trying to just play those Hollywood passes to get noticed and all that, and it's like, but mate, for the greater good, you need sometimes keep it simple, and just don't go for anything too high risk, because as it's shown, if we make mistakes, we get punished very, very badly in European football, as it's been the case for the last few years. Well, I say few years, it's been a lot more than that, sadly. And last night was just another microcosm of it, unfortunately. But well, let's have a wee look at what else. So Stuart Miller comes in, Connor, with this one, and it's something that you picked up on earlier. So I'll come back to you on this. Are we a Champions League club anymore? Are we even a Europa League club at the moment? I think we are, to be fair. I'd say Europa League. A bit extreme to say we're a Conference League club at this stage. Although there's nothing wrong if we somehow find a way on the Conference League somewhere in the next few years and somehow go on and do well in it, maybe even win it. Maybe it's a bit dramatic to say that. I wouldn't exactly, turn my nose up at it. It's not a competition I look down on. I know doing the English leagues, they always look down on the lower tier European competitions. But yeah, Connor, you said it earlier on. Champions League club, we are not. Just masquerading.
Aye, it's like we wear the mask of a Champions League club because we've actually won the fucking thing and we're in it, quite a lot, but we don't really compete. We don't really do much. Our stadium now is just a tourist trap. It is there simply for cunts to take pictures and put it on their Instagram and clap Luka Modric coming off the pitch after the 3-0 Real Madrid 3-0 up against us. I saw just I can't put the finger on exactly why this has happened over the years. It's a mixture of a lot of things. I think to be a Champions League club, the board, the fans, the team, everything has to be in tandem and working in one direction, and it's not.
Holy Trinity, as Brendan Rodgers once said.
We're right, even though I say we're a Europa League level club now, we've been known for years as having one of the best atmospheres in Europe. I didn't see that last night. We were going out to play a team of literal fucking Nazis and fascists, and yet we've got some wee lassie singing campfire songs and a fucking ukulele singing "You Never."
Keep in mind, Connor, I'm going to just quite push back that it's not really her fault. She was the club.
No.
I'm
not saying it's her fault.
Position. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it's her fault. Like, the lassie's obviously a talented singer in that, and she's just doing what she's been put there today. But if we're going to play an absolute bastard of a team like that, You want that's not going to G the players up. You want the I know it's borrowing for the Huns playbook, but you want a bit of blood and thunder and gusto to get behind your team. You're not getting that with that, and now you can't even sing You'll Never Walk Alone after the Champions League anthem is played because UEFA now
this sounds like the Rangers fans talking about wearing suits to the stadium. If any player plays for Celtic needs a lassie or you or my dad, you cheer them up for the match and get at a strip off and get you somebody else. No,
I'm not saying that, but it's the thing. You got to make the Celtic Park a fortress as well. And the fans are just as much a part of that as anybody else. Because think about it, nobody wanted to come and play here. Fucking AC Milan, whoever, the champions of Europe, they didn't want to come and play here. They found it really difficult. And fair enough, that might be down to the players and the management team and that style, and maybe we even just got lucky one or two times. But I don't think that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's a mixture of all these things. And look, the buck stops with the board and the investment that we've made, because you're not even spending right what you bought players for to replace them. We bought a Jota for $6 million. We bought Lewis Palmer for $4 million. That's £3 million less.
The thing is, I think Palmer looked actually quite lively when he came on last night. I do think he did look pretty good, and he's unlucky with what's happened with the goal and all that. But right before he scored, I generally said to the boys that was me, I said he does look like he's put up for this tonight. And about 10 seconds later, he put the ball in the net, but sadly, that obviously didn't quite work out for us. But no, I see what you're saying. But we hadn't heard the Jota, you got to remember as well. We hadn't heard of him before. We'd signed him as well. Obviously, once we saw him and he played for the couple of years, he is a player above him. Palmer at the moment, it's still too early to judge, I would say. But no, it's again with the board, it's coming back to that about the investment. But again, hindsight being a wonderful thing. We did, point out enough times about more investment. The stories were out there about the money and so on, and obviously the strategy they went with. Now we're into the Champions League, but Brendan also at the same time he will have also said publicly that he'll coach the players that he's given. So has he contributed to this as well? Is he culpable? So it's a bit budget at the moment. But as we say, we keep coming back to this thing about investment in the board. We want to compete at Champions League level. And sadly, we just in spells last night we were competitive, and the same in the final game in the first one. But it just somehow always victims their own downfall. But Mark, I'll come to you in this one. It's like one from Brown Warrior that came in. That again, it comes back to, so he's talking about, I know this is a strategy in Germany when it comes to ownership of clubs, right? But nothing will change at Celtic until Celtic changes. We've had the family owners, the venture capitalists, and now the resident billionaire, and nothing changes. The 50+1 fan control is the only answer. I believe they say that's a system that they use in Germany for club ownership and so on. But how really do we, how can this change at board level? Is there any way, or is it just a case that as long as that board is in situ, do we need some sort of American sports owner to come along and buy the club or something? Is that what we need?
They've not got to die. I don't mean that. I'm not going to kill them, but until they die, they're not going to be removed. Nothing's going to take them out. I don't think clubs the size of Celtic can be took over with fans. I really don't. I like saying Motherwell, clubs like that. Even Germany, I think they've probably got a system where it's probably works out for them, and you probably find it's maybe the smaller clubs who like the mid-level teams in their country have got any ambitions of winning trophies and league titles. They probably just want to survive and try and do as best as they can. I don't know if that works. I think the fans should have a membership on the board. I don't mean like somebody for the Green Brigade or somebody like me and you or somebody for a supporters bus. There should be a fan or a fan group on the board. You know what I mean? Like, no delivering stupid messages like, "Oh, I want a tea forum," or just somebody who's there to listen and see behind the scenes what's going on. You know what I mean? I don't really to have like a say or anything like that, but see if they're at least involved in some way in the discussions that the club make, because there's just so much insecurity with the Celtic fans. We don't know who's making decisions. Even when Peter Lawwell went in the club, we all knew the guy was running the club. So, and that can't be real. I don't know many clubs that behave that way. You know what I mean? Any business behaves that way, you know what I mean? Where they have people who don't work for them running the place. I don't know how that still is the case at Celtic. But I really don't think Celtic got to change to the people who are there are still breathing. You know what I mean? I said before a million times, like there's strategies put in place for companies the size of Celtic, like PLCs, that they change their CEOs every couple of years, and their directors every 5 years. We've been the same guys for circa 15, 20 years in some cases, you know, and that just breeds like a, you know, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. And musical chairs, Bhoycie calls it, people just get moved about, and that is, where's the freshness? Where's the youth approach? Or at least Don Mackay, we all know he maybe tried to do a bit too much, and the board didn't like it, you know what I mean? And Michael Nicholson takes a lot of the praise, but it was Don Mackay that pushed the Kyogo and Carter Vickers and Jota deals over the line, you know what I mean? People forget that, and possibly the Ange Postecoglou. He had a lot to do with all four of the big decisions. But I'm digressing a wee bit. I don't think the board's going to change their approach. I mean, we had a message, I think it was the day before the final game, telling us all that there's £70 million in the bank, but don't expect us to spend it because we have to save up for a rainy day. You know what I mean? And I see, as long as you've, I mean, I've seen somebody in the chat earlier on saying, we replaced Giakoumakis because Ange wanted. No, the club replaced Giakoumakis with Ange didn't say to the board, look, I want rid of Giakoumakis. There's a wee guy he looks like a real raw player. Bring him in, he'll be second choice to win us, to get in the Champions League and win us titles. I don't think that was the case. The guy made a decision to come out on Instagram and make an arse of himself, and the club decided to instead of invest and buy a £5, £6, £7 million player. They bought as cheap as possible for a market that they thought they struck gold in, and it's probably backfired because we've waited that market a few times now, and we've come out with our fingers bumped now. Hatate's form's really concerning for me. I think Liam's correct. I think he's definitely got his eye in the window for next summer, which is fine. So the club will make a lot of money and they'll be delighted. Then will be replaced by somebody else on loan, or they'll be replaced by somebody for Hearts or Kilmarnock or something. That's just the way it works. It'll be the fans that will not get the benefits of the big bucks transfers, I can assure you. But I don't know. I don't know. I thought when Lawwell had that wee period, it wasn't in the club, at least named as in the club, I thought we were moving forward. There was a wee bit of there was a dark cloud lifted the day that guy left Celtic officially, but when rumours were circulating he was coming back, I just felt, here we go, we're going back down that road again. And if a summer window didn't sum up Peter Lawwell's influence in the club, in fact, the Lawwells in general, as I said before last week, I think it was, we've traded one dynasty, the Kellys and the Whites, and we've replaced them with the Lawwells and the Desmonds. You know, and I wish I would have said that, because I firmly believe that Celtic will never move forward progressively while these people are still alive, mate. And I'm sorry, that sounds like I'm trying to get them done in. I'm just saying, you go have to remove them in a box. Simple as.
They'll be there for essentially. Yeah, it's just the funny bit was as well. Bus was mentioned this before, how we lost one Lawwell and then ended up with two. You know, when we talked about this new board, you know, one disappeared for a while and then came back, and now we've got two on the board. So yeah, that name's obviously, I covered that infamous season not too long ago on old Bustalgia, but yeah, of course that name is tarred by many even before what happened in 2021. But yeah, it's we've ended up with two of them there. But yeah, no, it's fair point what you're saying there. But Liam, let's go to another question here from Stubbsy's Horse, who's basically asking for Rodgers or Ange's style in the Champions League based on what we've seen so far. Rodgers not as exciting, but more attuned to getting results. Well, thing is, again, I know the word luck has kind of been frowned upon tonight when I brought it up. But again, you do look at what's happened to us. There has been an element of unluckiness as well, because Rodgers came out after the final game and feels like we will be competitive. As I said, my opening gambit as well, despite many people in the comments saying, you know, it's all negative stuff, I definitely did say when I did my opening gambit, I says, we did more enough to win that game last night. You know, we definitely did. We had the chances there. But again, it's just one of those Celtic doing Celtic things in Europe when it just happens to us all the time. But so far, out of the two games that Rodgers managed, and then I'd say his style's different to what it was a few years ago, because I think we were too gung-ho in his first tenure against teams like PSG and Barcelona, which was just asking for trouble at times. But he does seem a bit more like it's a bit more reserved this time. But yeah, just a couple of hard things have went against us, and a couple of silly mistakes, naive moments. And then Ange last season got a go at it as well. And yeah, there were some performances, especially 2 games against Shakhtar. God, we did more than enough to win every game in the tournament. Never mind just A2. It's been well said as well. I think we had 82 shots at goal in the whole group stage last season. And there's teams that have won the Champions League in the past that had less than 82 shots in the entire tournament. So we certainly had a go there. But so far, comparing it to Ange's style last season, what do you think gets the pass mark so far for Champions League football?
I mean, we're getting past the 60-minute stage at least now. With Ange, I always felt like if we got to 60, 65 minutes, it was a triple substitute coming, and didn't matter who was playing well, they were coming off and we were putting this other string on. And at that point, I didn't know if they were going to play well or come on and change the game. I know, usually time no. But I think if Ange had the team this year, he would have strengthened. Whereas I think that's the difference. I'm not expecting anybody to come off the bench now and turn a game. I don't see that quality for us. So yeah, I don't see much difference between the two teams. They're both trying hard. We're both still getting beat by lack of experience with players in certain positions. Whereas before it was, or sometimes too much experience. But we're still playing guys. Left back and right. Left back and the centre midfield and all that are just not first choices, or shouldn't be. Automatic picks every week, and I don't know. It's just carried through to the Champions League. As I said, it's like I don't expect much out of it now. So I'm just looking forward to the weekend, and I don't see much difference between what Rodgers is doing and what Ange is doing it, because, as we've all said before, this is very boardroom influence now, and you just got to say, all right, nothing I can fix here, just my expectations.
Aye, it's becoming a repetitive cycle now, sadly.
Well, just going back to what you were talking with Mark earlier about, how do we change it? It might have to be a bigger change. It might have to come through the whole Scottish League being restructured and reworked in a way so that we can actually get better as well and take some of the decisions out of Lyle and Desmond's hands. If you look what happened in the MLS, they got bought, all their rights got bought by Apple TV. And Apple TV have been really, really heavily influencing how they market and promote the game so that they're going to make it absolutely massive. And one of the ways was creating unrestricted content and getting access to the game, the highlights. They're using all the different digital media platforms to take the content and just narrow it down so you're getting goals and highlights and stuff like that right away on TikTok and all sorts of different channels and all that. And so they've came and they're actually structuring how teams play. And so Apple actually has a seat at the table, and it's going to change how football's seen, and it will slowly spread around the world as well, where we're not by looking at TV revenue, so it's such. It might just be it comes with part of your phone or your platform and that, and there's other ways that they generate money from it just through the worldwide exposure. And that's the only thing I think that would change our board, because they're not going to do it themselves. They don't have that creativity, foresight. It's going to have to come from a third party that's going to say, okay, if we're going to invest in this product, here's what you guys have to do to sort of meet our value of why we're including you in this. That's what it's going to have to come from.
Interestingly enough, myself and Mark on Judgement Day were talking about Scottish football in general, and sadly, what you're saying there makes perfect sense, but then you're also relying on those that run Scottish football to modernise and change. And I mean, as Mark told me on Tuesday night, they've got some rule in place where if a B team player plays X amount of minutes or games for this first team, he's not allowed to play for the B team for the rest of the season. We've also got that problem with the youth team have to play in the 5th tier Scottish football against part-time teams on terrible parks with no consequences to their games. In terms of they can't get promoted, they can't get relegated. So it's just a glorified friendly every single week. There's no real room for development. So, I mean, this is Scottish football talk about. We've also saw this week as well, Liam, that the Cinch partnership is now gone. I believe this is, I saw a tweet and it says something like this is the 7th time in Doncaster's tenure at the SPFL that they're looking for a new chief sponsor for the league, and it's like, Jesus Christ,
3 years early,
man.
isn't it, wasn't it?
Aye, 3 years early. They signed a deal in 2021, a 5-year deal, and they've called it early at this, basically the end of this season. So that'll be, 3 years it's been the Cinch Premiership. So yeah, that's only for a chief sponsor again.
If see the SFA, and the SPFL was all the clubs, right? But see the SFA, they're in charge of Scottish football. That's the difference. We need to have the SFA changed every couple of seasons. We can't have nepotism. We can't have people in that position for any longer than a couple of years, because they just get too cozy and they don't innovate. And we've got a league with Celtic and Rangers, right? They can have 110,000 on a weekend go to both their matches if they both played at home. And we've not got a sponsor for a league. We played the Scottish Cup, I think it was last year, and we need a sponsor for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Scottish Cup's not got a sponsor. The League Cup and the League do.
No wonder nobody takes this. Takes us seriously, because we just sound like pure, utter Mickey Mouse stuff. They take Celtic Rangers out of this league, and you go, what is there to sell? Even the clubs themselves are getting fed up with how their own boards are. And I seen St Johnstone fans like an after nut. I think it's the third away game in a row now that they've been forced to cut allocations, unable to buy tickets. It's been a pure mess for them. That's a team like St Johnstone. They can't get their appetite met for away games. St Johnstone, what do they take to a match? 500? You know what I mean?
That's mental that they're having allocation. Come on.
I mean, there's no pay at the gates. There's no. I mean, every league probably in Europe has got the smartphones, tickets on your smartphone.
Yeah.
And like if me and you forget a season ticket, we need to queue outside for an hour and a half to get a paper ticket.
That's
things like that. You need to scan your phone. You know what I mean? And we don't move with the times, mate. It's just an utter disgrace. I mean, and clubs found that when they pay at the gates, that they get an increase. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. It's easy and it's practical. If you want to just go to the game, you can just turn up and you can just pay.
2 o'clock, let's just go. We're hopping anyway. Let's just go.
Aye. It makes sense. All those empty seats, it looks, I mean, you see it on the TV, this looks horrendous, you know, so it's like, they're leaving money on the table. But yeah, Liam, they say it's very, very valid what you're saying. And if the people at the top would change, but this is the SFA, SPFL we're talking about, and I say it's a bit of an antiquated system there. But now we'll move on to another one. I've got a comment here for you, Connor, from Graham Tyrrell, who says, we're talking about quality players, talking about project players and so on, but again, what is a quality player? How do we, what is this that we keep talking about, and how do we get them here? Because again, just go back to what we were just talking about there about Scottish football, the Scottish League, how do we get them? What would have counted in the summer there, Connor, as a quality player, a Champions League ready player, or is it just, are we just being naive because we thought, well, Brendan Rodgers is our manager, he's worked in the Premier League for X amount of years, he'll have plenty of people he can bring up here. Has it just been naivety from us? Is it it's not as easy as we think? Is Scottish football essentially what's holding us back? Because unfortunately, I know it comes up every few years. It comes round in cycles about trying to move out of Scottish football, but it's never ever a go of that one. This is a league we have to play in, and yeah, it's going to take a massive modernisation, I think, from the SFA and the SPFL all the way down. But at the moment, in terms of can we attract? I mean, I remember in the summer, Connor, Russell said a few times in the show about he thought, end of the window, and I thought it too. That's when the big sides would go in. We could break our transfer record this year, and of course we were so far off that one. I wasn't even close to happening. Is it just some mad pipe dream and just naivety, or is it possible that we can entice players like £10 million signings to Scotland in this day and age, or is Scottish football essentially just not that attractive a prospect for them?
It's a bit of a difficult question because there's so many factors that go into it, but we paid £9 million for us and Edouard, so £10 million is only £1 million extra, which is like a drop of piss in a fucking urinal compared to Celtic. It means nothing. It's it's pennies to them.
That's a project player for them, £1 million.
I know. So, and look, we had Ivan Toney in this stadium in Celtic Park, literally there, shirt in hand, ready to put pen to paper, and the deal just ultimately just fell flat. So there's no reason why we can't entice these teams, because I know we're all a bit dour in that because of how bad we're doing in Europe and stuff. We're still one of the biggest fucking teams in the world. Undoubtedly, we're still one of the biggest teams. Still one of the biggest teams in the UK outside of Man U and Liverpool. That's it. They're the only two clubs in the UK bigger than us. We've won the fucking Champions League. We've got a 60,000 seater stadium. We're known all over the world. There's not a single country you can step into on this planet that doesn't have a Celtic supporters pub inside it, for good reason, because we're loved everywhere we go, basically, besides maybe one or two places. But to attract these players, you've got to be willing to fucking pay them what they want. Dominic Livakovic, fucking fuck me, I can't say his name anymore.
No, you got it there. That was it. Livakovic. One or the other, but yeah, that's it. Spot on. He went to
it was a Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, either or, right? He's went there, and for I think it was about £8 million, £9 million. That's well within Celtic's budget. The Croatian international goalkeeper, the number one goalkeeper, who was one of the goalkeepers of the tournament, right? That ball for Qatar was the goal of the tournament. He was immense, but that Livakovic was insane in the penalty shootouts and all the rest of it, and he is well within our price range. The Scottish League, right, is not on a similar level with the Turkish League. Celtic and Rangers are bigger fucking clubs than Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. We can offer them more, in a game-by-game basis, playing some of the biggest derbies in the world, win trophies, increase your brand, get better deals, etc. There's no reason why we can't be sitting saying, oh, but what we're going to do, we can't attract the players, we're priced out of them. No, we're not. We're just not looking in the right places. We're looking at fucking bringing it, instead of replacing a keeper to challenge Joe Hart for the number one position, we go and get a Benjamin Seagersfoot under United in a free because he put in a couple of good performances against us. That's the level we're at.
And now he's nowhere near. He's not even the second choice goalkeeper now.
Instead of getting shite like, it's to replace shite like Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor's been a bit better, whatever, but you're polishing a turd at the end of the day. He's no Celtic's level. I'm sorry to say it, because he's done all right. To make him the replacement for Kieran Tierney is nothing short of fucking mental. And for the backup for him to be Alexander O'Bernaby is absolute crackpot stuff. It's we can't attract these players. It's who we're looking at. It's whoever the fuck we've got in the scouting department. It's who's making these deals, whether it's the manager has nothing to do with it, or I don't know what it is. I can't tell you the answer. I wish I could tell you. I wish I could go into that boardroom and grab Dermot Desmond by his fucking big tash and just like shake him and tell him to just fucking wake up and just give the club what it deserves. Give these supporters what it deserves. Really invest. Really try and take us to the next level. But we know we won't do it, so that Peter Lawwell can get a new heated driveway, or that Dermot Desmond can buy a diamond-plated fucking mustache comb. I don't know. It's I don't know what we're going to do anymore. And I've said it before. The only way that these guys will listen is if you hurt them where they feel it, and that's in their pockets. And we won't do that because we're too loyal of a fan base. We'll buy all the strips. We'll turn up to every game. We'll support the team. We'll buy the merch. We'll buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kits. Some of them getting increasingly higher every single season. We'll buy Europa League and Champions League packages added on to your additional cost for your season ticket every single year. You'll do pay-per-views. You'll do all the rest of it. You'll pay for the fucking shitty wee t-shirt that you can spit peas through at the end of the season when they win the league, and it says like some cringy fucking statement about how we've won 20 league titles in the past 50 years or whatever the fuck it is they want to put on at this time, because they'll do it again because we will win the league this year. It's mental, and I don't have the answer, but they bastards do, and it's in their pockets, and we can't do anything about it.
No, it's interesting that you say like all the different things you rattled off there about paying for football for a league that seems to not have money in it. In terms of, I don't mean Celtic, I just mean as Scottish football as a whole. There seems to be a lot of money getting paid in by fans, so it costs us plenty of money if you're a season ticket holder. And then you even mentioned the pay-per-view stuff there. That's still a thing. You've got Sky TV. Obviously, if you want to watch the European football, you need to have TNT Sport as well and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's to say for a league that seems to always be, seen as one without much money. There seems to be a lot getting put in from all sorts of angles, but yeah, it's just investment. So it goes back to what you and me talked about, Mark, on Tuesday nights, talk about investment. There's a podcast we could do a whole thing on, just talk about the whole problems of Scottish football from top to bottom. So it's another story for another time, that one. But yeah, we've got about 5 minutes left anyway. We usually do about an hour, but we'll try and look forward a wee bit then to obviously I'll be on again tomorrow night to do the Friday feeling, looking forward to the game of the weekend, because yeah, we'll just need to, no point feeling sorry for ourselves, you dust ourselves off and go again. We've got Kilmarnock at the weekend in the league, last game before another international break. I believe if we do win that, then that would be maximum points we've taken in the league, because we dropped the points against St Johnstone before the last internationals, didn't we? It was before the last international break. So in this little sort of international break to another one, we're facing at maximum points. Obviously, it's helped as well that the chasing Packer obviously dropped a few points here and there as well. But yeah, going into Friday's game now, Mark, do you know off the top of your head, see the goalkeeper situation for Saturday? Is Joe Hart suspended for 2 games, or is he available again for a straight red card?
I think straight red cards are 2 games.
2 games.
So
it's
like a yellow and a red is 1 game. But I'm not too concerned with Bain. I think if Celtic are relying on Bain to win the match, then there's more to the game than just Scott Bain making an arse it. Do you know, I think if what Saturday showed the fans was, see, at the 95th minute, Rangers had a chance to claw the points back, and Michael Beale's in a job. 5 minutes later, Celtic have won the match, and then 2 years later, Michael Beale's out a job. Football, it can change like that. So I'm not as convinced that we're going to have, even as Connor described, he's spot on these shitty t-shirts. I'm not as convinced that it's a certainty it's going to happen. I'm kind of hopeful that it will be, but these are the kind of games you have to win. Kilmarnock showed against Celtic and Rangers that they're able to be frustrating and get. I am not that I'm trying to say that Celtic are not going to go there and destroy them on Saturday. I'm not entirely sure how many games we are going to see Celtic scoring 5 and 6 this season. I think it's going to be a bit more conservative, but I think the pace of Celtic's going up a notch every week. We're getting more and more tuned into his system. The European game, just come back to it on Tuesday, Wednesday night there, that looked more like more towards what Ange was playing. The ball was moving a bit faster. Even when we were getting the ball at the back, we were past the ball left to right. There were stages under Ange that we had to ball for the back, and it was slower. So I think the team is getting more tuned into the style of play, and I think you might see more of that on Saturday, because they'll be set up to frustrate us, and we can't be playing the ball left to right. I don't think we're going to see that. But we're getting. Let's be honest. I think we've spoken about this. I mean, what you're seeing now is Celtic at full strength, because the only position that wasn't sorted was the centre backs. I mean, you could even argue that Abada is in for a challenge anyway, because I think Palmer's going to be a good player for Celtic. So really, see what you're saying just now is what you're going to get. So there's no excuses about, we've not got our players back yet. It's not fully into second gear. I think Celtic are only in second or third gear. I think we've not clicked into full drive yet, and we might see that after this international break. These international breaks, I think it's terrible that us proper football fans need to put up with watching Scotland play football and having nothing to do at the weekend. I think it's ridiculous. But the good thing is, for Celtic, it's maybe come at a good time, because I think it gives Rodgers more time to get his sell on. But just something, see that mob across the road, it's came at a good time for them, because do you know what? They need a break just now. They need to calm everything down. I'll give them a couple of weeks more to find a manager. If ever I wanted Rangers to be playing against St Mirren away, then maybe a Hearts at Tynecastle, it is the new. But you know what I mean? They're going to get a couple of weeks to bring in somebody.
Always happens.
It does Connor happen last year, didn't it? It happens to us on the. We lose a manager, or we go through our stuff.
It was the World Cup break last year, wasn't it? The full so it was.
And they always got a spot, and they always. I mean, they're jammy bastards anyway, but they always seem to get the bad things at a good timing for them. For me, I think the the manager on the Saturday playing against Celtic might be the manager that's in the dugout at Ibrox next time we play them. And I think he could be the man, mate. I think he ticks all the staunch points, and I think now's the time for him to step in, because I know for a fact it's not going to be
Graham Potter.
No, will be. And if they go for Lampard,
chance to getting fucking Harry Potter a daft cunt.
I think they need Harry Potter if they bring in somebody like him. You never know. I mean, it's horrific. Gerrard was, and he was horrific. He still managed to win a league against Celtic, albeit COVID played a big part. But you never know. I would just write him off, but I'd be shocked if they went down that road again, because his record is appalling.
It's I've seen some of the names getting linked with them. At the end of the day, I'm just kind of like, there's nobody that worries me at all. So far from what I've seen, so Lampard one's just like his record's abysmal. So we'll see how they pick. But yeah, hopefully they drop some more points at the weekend. That'd be fun after the result they had tonight. But yeah, first and foremost, we need to get our result done. Now again, it's not one of those games where we will get to play before them. I say that's been a bit of a rarity last year, but this season we've got an absolute ton of them before the Christmas or the winter break. So yeah, we need to obviously be cashing in, put as much pressure on them as possible, and just making sure that they stay at arm's length. And yeah, as I say, tomorrow night I'll be back on as well with whoever is available in the team. We'll talk about more in depth at the Kilmarnock game. Now we've got it out of our system, talk about the Lazio game. That's it. We can now look forward. Now we need to bounce back. Celtic do tend to bounce back after disappointing European games. So hopefully Saturday is one of those days where we do just put them to the sword and get a wee bit of revenge in there for what happened earlier in the season in the Cup, obviously. That absolutely horrendous performance. So hopefully we can exercise the demons of that one. But they haven't got the plastic pitches here, the sort of leveler in it. So it's a different story when they come to Celtic Park on the big pitch. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there, folks. Thanks everyone for getting the questions in. See, it really helps me when you put the old hashtag T.N.F at the start. It does make it a lot easier. I think at one point I had like 14 stuff like banked in the sort of the bookmark section. So it's like that helps massively because comments come in so quickly. They just fly past. So when you put that at the start, I can just keep on bookmarking them as they fly past. But yeah, we'll head off now. So I'll be back tomorrow with somebody else on the Bhoycie Bus, and we will talk about the Kilmarnock game then, 9 o'clock tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see you then. Thanks for being on, boys. It's been a pleasure as always. And folks, we shall catch you later. See you guys.
Cheers.